Banik Ostrava from the Czech Republic are a one-time Fortuna League winner in 2004, and since then they've even been relegated and promoted back to the top flight, and other clubs have managed to get their hands on that silverware. Today, that ends. We will be taking control of this club and trying to battle the teams in Prague in today's rebuild. If you take a look at the club, this is how the stadium looks and all of that good stuff. It is really, really nice. This is going to be my first rebuild in the Czech Republic. They actually have really good facilities, 16 in terms of that training facilities, 18 for the youth facilities, and then 16 for both junior coaching and junior youth recruitment, which is actually really darn impressive. So I'm hoping we actually have some good new gens come through today. At the bottom of your screen though, you can see they are a one-time Fortuna Liga winner in 2004, as I mentioned in the intro, a one-time winner of the Mitropa Cup, which was in 1989, and then a one-time winner of the MOL Cup, which was in 2005. So their good spell was almost around 20 years ago. Today we're going to try and get them back on the top of the Czech Republic football. So if you take a look, these are the two competitions that we are going to be part of. Obviously we do have the two teams, Sparta Prague and Slavia Prague there, and Viktoria Plzeň. They're probably the biggest teams that we are going to have to come up against. So there is some decent competition in this division for us. It's not going to be a cakewalk, and we do have the cup as well. We are expected to reach the quarterfinals of this cup, and if we take a look at the league preview, you can see here we are predicted to finish in 4th, guys, 25-1 to win the title. Slavia Prague are the top team in the nation right now as things stand, according to Football Manager. Don't come at me, Czech Republic fans. This is what Football Manager says. They are the best team in the division. And then we basically need a good tactic to get the job done. So we are going over and we are trying out 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙤𝙗 tactic. It is a 4-4-2, but in like a wide diamond sort of setup. It is a very good tactic. And this, if I quick pick without restriction, the best 11, this is how the team is looking. Now, please do excuse me. I haven't done a huge amount of research on these players, but this is the best 11 in this particular formation. It looks quite good. This guy who we have on loan looks like one of our best players, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. He looks pretty good, but he is on loan from Slavia Prague. We won't be doing that much more in the future. And then we do have this defender as well, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, who is 24 years of age, despite the awful hairline. I'm sorry, David, that is shocking, says the man with the fresh trim here. But he also looks like a solid player at 24 years of age, looks like a good player, Czech Youth International as well. So basically what we're going to do, we are going to simulate 5 seasons, and we're going to call in at each individual season and see how we get on with this team. First stop, kind of getting a bit familiar with the team, and then seeing what we can do building on that, and who knows, maybe a little bit of European success. Let's see what we can do in season number 1. Okay, so 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪𝙤 𝙤𝙗 tactic is pretty darn good, and as you would expect, we've gone on and done good things. Now, we have topped the league here, so basically we've had one season, we've got our hands back on the domestic league. We haven't done a league and cup double though. We were knocked out in the semi-finals of that one, but I will say it looks like a bit of a down season for some of these teams, like Slavia Prague, as they said, were the best team in the country, finishing on 68 points. You would expect them to be a lot closer. 9 defeats for them all season is very, very interesting. I will say the league does split, but everyone maintains their points, but we run out champions, which is quicker than I thought we'd do it, but as I mentioned, G knows his tactics. His links will be down below. You can even buy him a beer down there, sign up to his Patreon. Please go and do it. He's a fantastic guy. But we absolutely smashed the league, finished top. There was only one game week where we dropped down to 3rd. Everything else, we were basically top of the league. We absolutely smashed it. If we go onto the home screen, you can see this guy here, Daniel 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, was our top goal scorer, 21 years of age. He is actually listed for loan and is a breakthrough prospect. They got 29 goals in all competitions, which is pretty darn impressive for a 21-year-old. But attribute-wise, I feel like we could potentially improve this, but he did very, very well. It was our highest average rating as well at 7.52. We had 2 guys on 15 assists as well, which is very good. But ultimately, we kind of smashed it, didn't we, in season number 1. If we go into our finances, then you can take a look and you can see we've got £1.9 million in terms of transfer budget to spend, and around 22k a week in wages. And if we go and take a look at the squad, you can see in terms of the wages, our highest paid player is on £37,500 a week. We did actually make some transfers in the January, as you can kind of see here. That is these boys down here. We kind of been a bit early on it. Keon Edwards came in from Arsenal on a loan. We also picked up Ado Onyewoo from Toulouse for 175k. Liam Walsh comes in from Swansea for 150k, and Filip Hanak comes in from Sparta Prague on 16.5k. So we've already started looking towards next season. I'm sure Liam Walsh will be very adept to playing in the Czech Republic. At least I have someone else that I actually can speak English to in this country, which will be good on this rebuild. So we're going to go away and see what we can do for season number 2, because obviously we're going to have some continental football, aren't we, boys? Okay, guys, so transfer update for season number 2, and it is all on your screens right now. You can see we've actually made ourselves around 4.4 million in terms of some of these outgoing. Some of them were last season, but over the course of the period of time, we've been working to try and sell a couple of these players, and we've been actually relatively successful. This guy here going for 175k, another one for 275k, definitely being able to get some money back into this team, which then has allowed us to sign a few new players. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚 comes in as a new left back option for us. Yes, he is 30 years of age, but that's still fine in my book. You do need a little bit of maturity to get some trophies in this game. He is 6'3", which is actually quite tall for a fullback, but a good player nonetheless. Comes in for 700k. That could rise to 750k. We've also picked up Emerson as a new wide man for us to play on that left hand side. Could also play up front if absolutely required. We also picked up Liam Cullen, another Swansea boy, another Welsh lad, or a Welsh lad coming into the team. He looks very well rounded and again can play in 3 positions that we may necessarily need him to. We also signed Adrián de la Fuente. He comes in from Villarreal. He is 24 years of age. He is a very solid centre back, despite being on the slightly shorter side at 5'10". He comes in on a loan from Villarreal. And then we've got another page of transfers over here. The most expensive one on the outgoings, if I sort them over here, we have Filip Kolac. He departed to go to Union Berlin, and we've also had a couple of other players that you can see there leave for much smaller fees. And then we've had several players come in on free transfers, and then one player that we have signed for some actual money. Oriol Zagaria comes in on a free transfer. He is a young Spanish player, again can play in a couple of different positions for the team. He is 5'9" though, so a little on the short side. Onel Hernandez comes in, again another wing play option for us, 30 years of age, still tricky, still pacey, which again is a nice little improvement there. Rafael Barbosa comes in on a free transfer, again really trying to rejuvenate this squad and actually put our own stamp on it here. We also, this is the guy we paid some money for, 325k for this Iranian international. I'm not even going to try and say his name because it might be mildly offensive, but he's a defensive midfielder, can also play in central midfield if required, not that this tactic has one, but also play at the back if we desperately need a centre back. Sergio Gil comes in as another option for us, again in that central of the park position. Godotti comes in as a goalkeeper for us. He comes in from Como. Lovely place, really want to go there. And then the last player is Justov, another goalkeeper who always seems to get released on a free transfer here. He is 6'4", he's a Bulgarian international, so steps in to this team very, very nicely, which we've made a lot of improvements, guys. These are the players that we're going to actually be pinning in positions just to try and make sure that they are definitely selected. We've got lots of options here, and I'm thinking these players can do some real damage for us moving things forward. Obviously, then we do have options on the rest of the pitch, but if I quick pick without restriction, these are the players we're going to pin, but this is what the rest of the team would look like. It is pretty solid, definitely a bit more balanced than we were last season, and we are going to need that because if we click onto the competitions tab, not only do we have the league and the cup, we also do now have the Champions League in season number 2. We enter in the 3rd qualifying round, so 2 rounds to get past before actually getting into the group stages, but I think we could definitely do that. We are expected to win the MOL Cup, which is going to be very interesting, despite the fact we got to the semi-finals last season, and the board only wants us to finish inside the top half of the Fortuna Liga, despite winning it last season. If we take a look at the season preview, we are still 13-1 to win the title. We are still predicted to finish in 4th, but obviously we've got our goalkeeper in here now as a part of the Media Dream 11, but the rest of it is made up by Sparta Prague, Victoria Plzeň and Slavia Prague players, but we've got one body in there, which is a very good bit of progression. So we are going to simulate this season, season number 2, and see if we can actually get into the Champions League proper. So guys, Season 2 was very impressive yet again. We have managed to secure another league title, but this time we added the domestic cup to go with it. We are cup winners in season number 2. The Champions League was also pretty good. We got to the round of 16. I will talk on that in just a second, but if we have a look at the MOL Cup, we got all the way to the final this time where we took on Slavia Prague. They scored in the first minute, which I thought was going to be a little bit of a problem, but the boys buckled down, got 2 goals inside the first half, which is really, really nice, and then 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 adding that final nail into the coffin in the 93rd minute to see us crowned champions. But if you look at the stats of the game, we definitely deserved the victory there. In terms of the league though, we had 96 points in the league, which is absolutely ludicrous. We only lost 1 game all season. That was it at the start of the season. 3 draws and 31 victories, which is absolutely ludicrous. We win the league by 15 points. Sparta Prague finish in second, and then Victoria Plzeň and Slavia Prague qualify for the Europa Conference League. Now, Champions League, we got all the way to the round of 16. There you go. The final's not actually taken place yet, where we were knocked out by Liverpool 4-3 on aggregate, which is not too bad, including a win at Anfield where 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪 stepped up big and scored 2 goals. Disappointing that we did go out nonetheless. Liverpool definitely deserved to go through, but that's a kind of statement of intent, isn't it? If I go into the filter and show you guys our Champions League progress, you can see it here. We took on Astana in this first round, or in the third round. We beat them 7-0 at home. Doesn't really matter what you do away then, does it really? We lost that game 2-1. We then took on Copenhagen. We beat them at home again. Our home form proving pretty good here, which is really nice. It sees us go through into the Champions League. We were in Group F, where we took on Benfica, PSV Eindhoven, and Rangers, which is actually a really nice group. I am buzzing with it. We beat Benfica, beat PSV, beat Rangers twice, and then lost the game on the road to Eindhoven and the game at home to Benfica, which then saw us get Liverpool. We lose 3-1 at home. As you can see there, goals from Fabinho, Mo Salah, and Jordan Henderson. 2 of the Saudi Arabia contingent, getting the job done for them at our place. And then obviously we've already spoken about our victory at Anfield. Massive shout out to 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪. So basically guys, we're amazing. The Czech Republic's a beast, and you love to see it. I will keep an eye on our coefficient ranking, or league ranking as well. We were currently ranked 20th in the first season. We are now up to 17th, and with our exploits in the competitions, you would expect that we will continue to rise. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪 from Swansea, top goal scorer for the season. He got 30 in all competitions and 12 assists, averaging over a goal contribution, just under a goal contribution every single game, which is ludicrous from a man who's played his career at Lincoln and Swansea. Massive shout out to 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪. If I go on to the home screen again, Rafael Barbosa was our highest assister with number 13 assists, and our new goalkeeper managed to keep himself 16 clean sheets, which I am very impressed with, and he's now wanted by West Ham, Rennes, Almira, and Augsburg, so it's going to be fun to keep hold of him, isn't it, when the bigger teams come calling. In terms of the finances though, we're doing okay. The overall balance of the club, obviously being in the Champions League, is massive. £26 million in terms of that overall balance. Got £5 million in terms of our transfer budget, and around 16k to spend a week in our wage budget as well, to really take this side to the next level. I kind of want to just continue to win the League and Cup for the remainder of this rebuild, but part of me doesn't think that's very realistic. Transfer update for season number 3, and we've been kind of splashing a little bit of that Champions League money. We've actually spent over 11 million on the money for 4 players, with just 53 grand coming back in the other way, as Mohamed Sana leaves the club, which is nice. We got a free transfer in through the door. Let's talk about him first. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪, he comes in, as I said, on a free transfer. Another shorter centre-back at 5'11", but very well-rounded centre-back as well. I like his aggression. The fact that he can play centre-back and defensive midfield is very key for this, and he's a Peru international, which you love to see. David Zima comes in from Torino, £4.2 million again for him. He is a Czech young centre-back. He has been capped by the national side as well, 13 times to them. 6'3", much more what I usually look for in a centre-back, so he will hopefully be a nice addition from Torino. We've also picked up this guy from Leeds as well, a Norwegian youth international. Again, 6'3", big guy, can play either centre-back or left-back. Just getting these options in, and then £2.7 million on a man from CSKA Moscow. Can play on that right-hand side, definitely much more of a squad player. Nice and fast though, 15 acceleration, condition, 16 agility and 14 pace. Definitely is a good player to have in the squad. It's always good to have a absolute pace merchant in the team. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how the team is looking going into season number 3. That dual strike force up the top there of Cullen and 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, there we go, I've butchered that, is gonna do the business hopefully. And yes, the team is looking pretty darn stacked. If we go into the competitions tab, of course we have all the competitions that we had last season, but we do have the Super Cup as well, where we take on Slovan Bratislava. So it's going to be interesting. We get another trophy that we could possibly win, and we do have to qualify for the Champions League yet again. The third qualifying round is the same round that we went in last season. Hopefully it ends in another round of knockout football. Obviously season number 3 will see the Champions League turn into the league phase. The board want us to win the cup again. They don't care about the Super Cup, and they want us to finish inside the top 3 places of the league that we won for the last 2 seasons, and we are predicted to do so. We are predicted to finish in 3rd, 9-2 to win the title now, and we top and tail the Media Dream 11. We've got the best goalkeeper and we've got the best striker, so hopefully we are able to three-peat, we are able to retain, and we keep out the 2 teams from Prague and really take things to the next level. The coefficient also rising. We are now 16th. We are now better than the Serbian league. So let's see what happens in season number 3. So season number 3 is done and dusted, and we've got another 3 trophies to add to our trophy cabinet. Now, I will talk about the league first and foremost. Yes, okay, we did win again. Not as good a season as last season. 86 points for the boys this time was enough to see us retain. Sparta Prague finishing 2nd, but they did lose 10 times throughout the course of the season. So you can kind of see why we did finish top of the league. We did start the season with the Czech-Slovakian Super Cup, where we absolutely battered Slovan Bratislava, and we beat them 6-0, absolutely smoking them. They had no chance. They only had 4 shots, 2 on target, 0.06 xg to our 4.15 xg. Didn't really stand a chance. We win that one. We also retain the cup as well, this time beating Slavia Prague in that final 1-0. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, God, I really can't say his name, with the goal there in the 53rd minute. Again, it looked like we were the better side here, and we do take home the trophy. Champions League, though, not as good this year. Obviously, the final hasn't been played just yet, but I can talk to you about our progress. We got into the Champions League relatively comfortably, absolutely annihilating Dinamo Zagreb from Croatia. Then we took on Rakov from Poland. Poland? Yes. And we beat them 5-1 on aggregate as well to see ourselves into the Champions League. I thought it was going to be really good. We beat Besiktas 7-0 on the opening day. Then we lose to Red Star, draw with Atletico, lose to Inter, lose to Rennes, lose to Atalanta, lose to Bayern, lose to Arsenal. So we got knocked out in the league phase. Relatively disappointing for us. You can see us down there in 31st. That is a poor showing. Hopefully we can correct things for next season, and hopefully our coefficient doesn't take that too big of a hit, because obviously now once you get into season 3 and it goes into the league phase, there's no dropping down into the Europa League. It's this or you're gone. So yeah, we need to correct things for next season, and the way we do that is again using some of that Champions League money. We've got 13.4 million pounds here to spend, and a massive wage budget, 292k a week. So it is time to go and spend, and time to spend wisely and make this team better for season number 4. So guys, we've got lots of transfers to talk to you about, and we've had a lot of money moving in and out of this club in the Czech Republic. We've actually made 30.5 million pounds. If I actually sort these by the date order, you might be able to see some of these here, but I don't actually know. I'm going to sort them by fee because I don't want to miss some of the bigger ones. Vutsov, our goalkeeper, has departed. He is no longer our goalkeeper. We managed to sell him, and we got 6 million pounds for him. We also sold this guy to Salernitana, a central attacking midfielder. He departs the club for 4.5 million pounds. Rafael Barbosa, our top assister a couple seasons ago, he is also gone out the door. He has gone to Girona for 4 million pounds. The guy whose name I was really struggling to say, he has gone to England. He has gone over to Norwich for 3.7 million pounds. We've basically been shelling out as many of these players as humanly possible. These are the highlighted ones for values over £1 million. And now now we need to talk about some of the bodies that we've been bringing in. Now, we try and get our business done pretty darn early, and you can see some of the fees on the left-hand side of the players that we've been basically buying. £2 million for this guy. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, he is another goalkeeping option, Bulgarian youth international. Maybe we replace one Bulgarian goalkeeper with another Bulgarian goalkeeper. We've managed to pick up Jack Stevens as well to play at the back, even though he's 31 years of age. You can kind of see, hold on, he was last season. Hold on, I hate when FM does this. These are the ones from this season. My apologies, guys. You needed to look at these two. Bruno Zappelli down here at £2.8 million. He looks pretty good. Again, a replacement for one of the players going out, sorry. And then we have this guy coming in from Shakhtar, our new striker, Kevin Kelsey. He looks very good, very well-rounded. Not a player that I've seen on this game before, but 2 caps for Venezuela. 6'3", very physical striker. Looks pretty darn good to me. And then we've had a couple more outgoings once you flick over to this season. I really wish it would actually just do this automatically. It would be much better. We lost this guy, Peru. He has departed the club. He has gone to Real Zaragoza for £1.5 million. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how the team is looking. We're looking pretty solid here. We've got Piatek on a trial. Krzysztof Piatek, obviously the older Polish striker. We've got him on a trial. He is leaving Hertha Berlin. Hopefully we can maybe do some business for him. Having a bit of seniority up there could be a little bit of a difference maker in some of these bigger games. We're hoping to have. If we go and take a look at the Champions League stuff, we obviously enter in the 3rd qualifying round again. Still haven't bumped up in terms of that coefficient. We need a better performance this time around. In the Super Cup, though, we take on Slovan Bratislava again, which will be good. Hopefully we pump them like we did last time. We are expected to win the cup and win the league now in season number 4. If you take a look at that season preview, we've got a nice front line of players going in now. We are definitely top heavy in terms of this, but I'm okay with it. We are the favourites to win the league at 11-5 odds, and obviously there are the boys hoping to do the damage in the league, obviously with those top 4. That coefficient is still continuing to rise. It was 20th when we started. We are now up into 14th. We are obviously doing the work there, hoping we can catch the Turkish Super League and the Danish Superliga very, very soon. And I'd love to finish above the Scottish League, to be perfectly honest, because I think it's definitely possible. So that's what we're going to have to do in season number 4. Another good showing in the Champions League, and I think we should be there. Ladies and gentlemen, season 4 was an invincible season. Yes, we managed to go all the way throughout the season without losing a game. 32 victories, just the 3 draws, plus 91 in terms of our goal difference, and 99 points, meaning we win the league by almost 30 points. Yes, we absolutely dominated the competition in the league, as you kind of would expect. In terms of the Super Cup, though, much tighter affair than it was last season. 2-1 sees us win this title, and another trophy to add to that trophy cabinet, which I'm never ever against. If we take a look at the MOL Cup, though, this one was much more one-sided. 5-0 for the boys, absolutely smashing in there. Goalkeeper had an absolute hooner at 5.5, but the boys just did what they needed to do, just continued to score the goals that were presented to them to secure another trophy, and that is our 3rd cup in a row, which you absolutely love to see. In terms of the Champions League, though, things weren't necessarily great. We got knocked out in the league phase yet again. We did qualify. We took out Maccabi Tel Aviv, then we took out Partizan from Serbia. Seems like we're having a lot of battles with the Serbians at the moment. Then we have the Champions League phase, where we lost to Aston Villa. Yes, you're reading that right. We lost to Aston Villa, lost to Sporting, lost to RB Leipzig, drew with Real Sociedad, and then we took on Glimt twice. Oh, my eyes. I'm getting old, guys. We took on Glimt, Bodo Glimt, and lost, and then we took on Young Boys and drew 3-3, lost to Man City, lost to Lazio. The league phase, again, disappointing, down in 33rd this time. A very poor showing in the Champions League, but we are in the Champions League nonetheless, so it kind of makes sense. I'd love to qualify for the knockout rounds again. I don't want season number 2 to be our best one in European competition. But other than that, guys, absolutely smashed it. If I go onto the home screen, new signing Kevin Kelsey was our top goal scorer. 30 goals and 11 assists for the Venezuelan international. And he is now wanted by a whole host of teams. Brentford, Brighton, Fulham, Southampton, Wolves, Stuttgart and Torino want this guy. So if we flick on over to the finances then, guys, we have lots of money, but it's all kind of tied up in our wage budget, as you can see. facility, we can move things around. We get around 8 million, 9 million if we wanted to spend it that way, or we try and wheel and deal and leave it all in our wage budget. The team is looking pretty good. If I show you our facilities and stuff, we now have 20 in terms of training facilities, 17 in terms of youth facilities, 20 in terms of junior coaching, and 17 in terms of youth recruitment. In terms of bringing players through, this club should be one of the best in the country, or one of the best in Europe, you'd like to think. Hopefully we can show you some of these guys coming through into this team soon, because this guy looks like a tasty little player. Rosso, he's had a couple of appearances for us this year, mainly substitute appearances, but looks like a very good prospect, and it's just the right element of when to thread some of these players into the team. Obviously, we're going to go into season number 5 now, and hopefully we can strengthen for this last season. So guys, into the final season we go here in the Czech Republic, and we've got a couple of players to bring in. We've brought in Sal Salcedo for a free transfer, 28-year-old Paraguayan international coming into the team. Really good heading, bravery, natural fitness, jumping reach, and all of that good stuff that you look for in a centre-back. We've also signed Jorge, another player that I've not necessarily heard of too much. He is a Brazilian left-back, 1 cap for the Brazilian national team, so shout out to you, mate, because you look very well-rounded, and I think you could potentially get into that team again. And then a big favourite of the channel, if you've seen me ever draft, we've picked up 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚. This guy is an absolute weapon on set pieces. 17 jumping reach, coupled with the fact that he's 6'5", 16 strengths, 15 positioning. He's just a really good defender. He came in from Stuttgart for £1.7 million. That could rise to 1.8. Jorge came in for £2.1 million. And then we've got a couple of other players over here. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚 has come in from Birmingham City on a free transfer. Obviously, the former Manchester United protege. Yassine Adli comes in on a free transfer, obviously formerly of AC Milan. He is a very big step up. And then we spent £15 million on this man. Filippo Ranocchia is how I'm going to butcher this poor Italian man's name. 25 years of age, very well rounded to play in defensive midfield. Looks very good, very creative. Also has high natural fitness and high concentration. Definitely things I look for in central midfielders. We've had several players leave the club as well, as you can kind of see some of the values over on the right hand side of the screen. Miguel Araujo maybe even has gone to Almeria. Bruno Zappelli has gone to Elche, and Daniel Cabral has also gone over to Brazil as well. So if we take a look at the team going into this 5th and final season, we quick pick without restriction. This is how we're looking. We've still got a couple players on trial, and this one is a biggie. A 33-year-old, but still very good, Paul Pogba. We might pull the trigger on Paul Pogba. We will have to wait and see. But the team's looking pretty solid as things stand. I've got a couple of good players in the team, and we are ready to do some damage. If we go and take a look at the competitions tab, of course, we have the same 4 competitions, but this time we enter in the Champions playoff into the Champions League, because this coefficient is at the 14 level, and we've been basically doing good things in continental competition. We have managed to raise the coefficient enough to get into the next round of qualification. Obviously, we are expected to win the cup. We have a different team that we're taking on in the Czech-Slovakian Super Cup, and we are expected to win the league as well. If we take a look at the season preview, you can see we are very much dominating this Media Dream 11 now, with the exception of 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚 as a left back, because I don't think he'll play there. We are odds-on favourites to win the league, 8-13 to win the league in season number 5. Let's go get it and not disgrace ourselves in the Champions League. So it wasn't to be in season 5 in the Champions League, but in domestic competition, we are absolute juggernauts. We have won the league again. We are unbeaten in 2 whole seasons now. 93 points for us because we had 6 draws in the league. We're basically the Fortuna Liga, absolute beast, behemoth, juggernaut, whatever you want to call us. That is us. We've won it all of the time, absolutely smashing it, which you love to see. If we take a look at the Super Cup, we kind of dominated that one again, winning that one 6-3. Kevin Kelsey popping off with 4 goals, and Liam Cullen getting the other 2 for the Banik boys, absolutely smashing it. We win the MOL Cup as well, beating Sparta Prague in this final. Kevin Kelsey again dominating. This guy is an absolute monster. And then Champions League, let's talk about Champions League. we just couldn't get it going in the Champions League in this particular rebuild. We qualified, we beat 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙤, absolutely thumped them at home, but lose away from home. We actually draw 0-0 with Derry City, who have made it into the Champions League phase proper. Massive respect to the team from Ireland. Keep an eye peeled. There might be an Irish rebuild coming soon. We lost to Monaco. We drew with Hertha Berlin. We actually beat AC Milan. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙤 getting the winner in the 94th minute there. We lost to Real Madrid 3-0. We lost to Rennes. We lost to Bayern Munich, and then we beat Sporting Lisbon. Not Sporting Lisbon. I know they don't like that. We finished in 26th, which is an improvement, but not good enough to see us qualify for the next round of the Champions League, which is rather disappointing. If you have a look at the finances and stuff, though, guys, this club is in a really good state. You've got just over 13 million if you did want to carry this on, over 650k as a wage budget. And if we take a look at the home screen, the club info screen, you can see we've got the 220s here and the 217s. We have been trying to improve this club off the pitch. If you did want to pick this up, which you can do in my Discord, links to that will be down below. And if you do like the rebuild content, guys, check out this playlist. It's all of the rebuilds that we've done on this year's game.